One good example of a thing that you can do with OpenAI and Zapier is you can automate the postings of blog posts to your web page. Now let's pretend that I'm a criminal defense attorney in Florida. I have my own website and I'm always at a loss as to what content I should be putting on my website. Everybody says I need to have my own blog, but let's be honest, writing blog posts is a pain. Because I'm very lazy, I'm going to use OpenAI, Court Listener, and Zapier to automate the creation of draft blog posts for me. These blog posts are going to be based on the latest decisions from the Florida Supreme Court. You can see here that I've got Court Listener open, and Court Listener has a feeds page that is very handy if you're into this kind of thing. Down here under Jurisdiction Feeds for Opinions, there's one for the Supreme Court of Florida. And if I click on that, this is an RSS feed of all of the decisions coming out of the Florida Supreme Court. So what I want to be able to do is to feed this information into OpenAI and then have OpenAI feed that information into my WordPress site. And to do that, I'm going to use Zapier. You can see here that I've got a Zap already created. I'll show you how it works. For my trigger, I'm choosing the RSS feed app by Zapier, and under app and event, I've got RSS by Zapier, and then the event is new item in feed. I'll click continue, and then I'm going to put the URL in for this feed that I've got up on my other tab here, which is from the Florida Supreme Court. I don't need a username and password because this is public. And then under what triggers a new feed item, I'm going to leave that as different GUID, whatever that means. I'll hit continue, and then it'll test it for me, and it'll pull in one of the opinions from the feed, Hector Sanchez Torres v. State of Florida. I'll click continue, and then my next item is OpenAI. So a note here, Zapier is experimenting with OpenAI. This is kind of their prototype integration with that system, but you can still use it. In order to use it, you'll need to create an OpenAI account and grab your API key so that you can log in to OpenAI via Zapier. I've already done that here, but Zapier can walk you through those steps pretty well. Under event, I have send prompt. You can do a lot of things here. Send prompt, generate image, check moderation. Send prompt is kind of like your all-purpose thing that OpenAI can do. I'm going to click continue. It's going to ask me to confirm the account. I'll click continue. And then under model, I've chosen Text DaVinci 3, which is the highest one that I have access to right now. It is a little bit more costly, but by costly, I mean it costs maybe 0.001 cent more per instance than the other models. Under prompt here, this is where the magic comes in. So essentially, I'm going to tell OpenAI what I want it to do and the information I want it to use. And I can write this like I'm talking to an unpaid intern, which is kind of nice. So here I wrote, write a blog post that talks about the case, and I'm pulling in from the RSS feed, the title, the summary of the case is, and then the raw summary text. A note here down at the bottom, you can insert data from your RSS feed, which is what I'm doing with these little doodads here. So choose the one that's appropriate for what you want to do. Here you can choose the title, the name of the court, the link to it, all of this stuff. So make sure you get the right stuff to send to OpenAI, and it will take it and do what it wants with it. I've also been kind of specific with it. Here I said, as part of the blog post, extract the fields from the summary and list those as bullet points with the heading Facts of the Case. And then I put in a separate paragraph with the heading of Analysis, find what the court decided and state that in detail as well as an analysis of it. And because I'm a criminal defense attorney, I want it to be a little bit biased for me. And I said, your analysis should be from the perspective of a criminal defense attorney. And we'll see what it comes up with. Right now, you don't need to worry about temperature or things like that. You can tell it to be more risky or however you want to do. I just left it at 0.7. You may want to change the maximum length. Here, I changed it to 1,000. It was originally at 256, and that's the length of characters. So when I first tested this out, it was only generating like half of a paragraph for me. I don't need to worry about stop sentences. P and frequency penalty and presence penalty I'm not going to worry about for this example. but I'm going to hit continue. And I've already tested this, but I'm going to hit retest, and you see that it's thinking. It's tested it, and it's transformed the text and done what it does with it. So under text, it's going to say facts of the case, and it lists out the facts in bullet point form. So it runs through what it found in the summary and breaks those out into bullet points. And then it creates an analysis, and it's got its analysis here. So this looks pretty good to me. And what I want to do next is have this go to WordPress as a draft post so that I'm not having to copy and paste stuff from different programs into other programs. So I'm going to hit continue, and I've added the WordPress Zap as well. A note on the WordPress Zap integration: you're going to need to install the Zapier plugin, which you can do through WordPress, and you see I've got it installed here. This lets you connect Zapier to WordPress and send information to it. So make sure you do that first. If you don't, Zapier will give you a warning and tell you to do it. I'm going to go back to Zapier, and under app and event, I'm going to do WordPress, and then the event is create post. Now what it's doing here is it's creating a draft post, not one that's published. So don't worry that it's going to publish stuff automatically on your behalf. I'm going to click continue. I've got my WordPress account already plugged in. I'll hit continue. And then action, I'm going to say post type is posts, title is Hector Sanchez. Again, I'm pulling this from the RSS feed, so I don't have to worry about what it's putting in there. It's going to put in the title of the case as the title of the blog post. Down here in content, I've got it pulling the link to the case from the RSS feed. And then here I've got it putting in the text of the thing that OpenAI created for me. So this draft blog post is going in the content. Again, you can choose to put in anything that you get back from OpenAI. So all of this stuff, and Zapier will show you, based on the test data, what you're getting back and what you can put in. I'm not going to worry about any of this stuff, the author, featured media, all of that stuff. I'm going to leave blank for now, and I'm going to hit continue. I've already tested this, but let's test it again. And you see it's sending a post to WordPress. Okay, let me go over to my WordPress site. I'm going to go to posts. And you see I've done this a few times. So this is the latest one. And I'm going to click on edit and see what it came back with. All right, so there's the link to the case. Right now it's plain text, but I can fix that. And then it has facts of the case and all of the bullet points that it created, and then analysis in the case of Hector Sanchez Torres v. State of Florida, and then it does an analysis of the case. So it runs through the summary, analyzes that, and gives me text based on that. I told it to write this from the perspective of a criminal defense attorney, which it's trying to do, and it did a fairly passable job. Again, I wouldn't actually click publish on this without modifying it a little bit, right? That's not something that I'm into, but if you are, God bless you. But as I've said before, this gives me a really, really good starting point for writing these blog posts. I don't have to worry about starting from scratch. I'm probably going to go skim the case again. I'm going to just double check stuff in this, and I'm going to add my own analysis to this and edit this. But I have something to edit, and that's the key here. It's so much easier to start with something than to start from scratch. This is one of the reasons why I really think OpenAI can be a productivity boost for lawyers, especially lawyers who are strapped for time, who want to get out blog posts, who want to do analysis, but don't know where to start. This gives you a really, really good starting point and lets you get things off the ground.